So, ladies and gentlemen, I believe you all could still recall the military operation that I talked about briefly of the success of the Rapid Intervention Brigade 17 and the Rapid Intervention Brigade 7 along the Ivorian border, closer to the outskirts of Banfora, not so far from Ivory Coast. Ladies and gentlemen, there are still some neighboring towns you will get to before getting to the Ivorian border, but this is like an isolated place where you have a lot of bushes, and it was going to be a little bit difficult, not too far away from the amulets, right? But these are places that are not regularly surveilled, right? But based on reports that we got, the troops of the Burkina armed forces in this region, they have eyes almost on every square inch kilometer of the territory. Southwestern Burkina Faso, the defenses in that region is impregnable. Ladies and gentlemen, an elite assault team of JNIM have actually been in this region for about 3 days. Yeah. Look, the mission is to find a weak link in the defenses of the armed forces. Now, when they find this weak link, the modus operandi is to establish like a minor command center through which they are going to start running an ISR, like a localized ISR, mostly surveillance and reconnaissance. So what they do from here is that they will start launching a drone surveillance just to monitor what is going on before they launch a coordinated attack. Now, most of the time, the information we get is that they communicate with neighboring, foreign military bases of the information. Then those ones give them the satellite image of like, this is the strategic location, this is how to, and they give them good intelligence on how they can overrun military bases, right? Because if you look at some of the tankers that were blown along the Guinea-Conakry Malian borders today, you will see that there was a satellite image. There was a satellite image. There was a satellite intel that was relayed, that was, sent directly to the terrorists, which was actually shown. But that aside, right? So what we discovered was that they came fully prepared. They came with, normal saline. A lot of people did not really study the parafuels. They came with enough, bullets for defense. They came with guns. They came with RPG. So should in case they want to blow up defense structures, or they want to, do some sort of ambush or sabotage mission. So they came with enough equipment. They came with daggers, they came with knives, they came with giving sets, they came with scalp vein needles. They came with the BRS minimum, like plasters, cotton wools, those first aid kits. So it begs the question, like, these are terrorists that actually have no education. They are not mentally equipped to the point where they know, like, according to the information we have, there are even doctors that have been recruited into, this big syndicates, this JNIM syndicates. Now, the job of this is to train them on how to do first aid. If there is any orthopedic level bullet wounds, they are going to try to help out and stuff like that. But allegedly, we have not really got a clear confirmation of the involvement of medical personnel in this. But according to the information that we've gotten, there are medical personnel that have actually shared some critical knowledge with these people on how they can actually, do one or two when the situation is very, very desperate. So we noticed as part of what it brought to was some high level class of pain relievers, right? In the level of the opiates. They found so many cocodamol. And a lot of people that know the operation, the pharmacokinetic, and you want to know the way the cocodamol work on the body physiology, it actually turns your body into a complete numb. Like, you don't feel anything. You can feel pressure, but you don't feel pain with cocodamol. So that is why most of the time, before and they saw some tramadol, right? Before the terrorists, before they go out, they would have loaded their system with these things. So when they get shot, that's why sometimes you hear they fly with bullet wounds. So till they get to back to their location where they will get resuscitated. But from information we had that some of them, even before they get to their bases, they get to lose their life, where they get buried, in a very, very unceremonious way. They don't even get any ceremonious type of, burial. But at the end of the day, these are the things that happen. So what they did not understand was that the Burkinabe armed forces were already looking at every single thing, every single move, every square inch they stepped their boots on. The Burkinabe armed forces they were really, really watching them, and they were watching them hard. So they created this sort of comfort for them, like no problem. So the terrorists felt so comfortable. If you look at from the information we're given, they have already started building some, minor, join trees together, build some minor fortress for themselves, just to take refuge in case there was rain. They are set up their banners. They were even cooking. They've been eating and stuff like that. So according to the information we're given, so what they do after establishing this local, should I say command center and control center for drone operation, that is where they will now start calling for backups. So before they now plan a real attack. So they must have had good intel about exits, about, where you can get into the military base or, stuff like that. Or they start performing some little ambushes here and there just to stretch out the military before launching a serious attack. So what they did not understand was that they were being encircled. The movement was being contained. Every movement they made was being monitored. To the point that we even got information that even when some of them goes to perform private activities, I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. They were being watched, but they did not know. So this particular assault, when the timing was complete, right? The BIR-7 is a unit, in my own opinion, that looks like a Team 6. These are like cream of the crop. These guys are like, they are, to me, from evidences of the operations these guys have done before, and they don't just call them the brave immortals, like for any reason like that. These guys are special. And the commander of this unit is Captain WATAO. They moved in and they launched a complete decapitation assault in one of the most stealthy form you can ever see, because there was little to no exchange. It was just gunshots ringing. There was no return fire because there was no opportunity for the enemy to build a sort of response capacity. The response capability was shattered. Now, what I have seen about the BIR-7 is they have a signature way of taking out their enemies. I want you guys to check on the Telegram channel because I've been shadow banned recently and I want to avoid that, right? I'm going to put the bullet evidences here, but I'm going to pin the link on my comment section. I'm going to pin it. Hit the link, go to the Telegram channel. We have the body evidences, right? You will notice that the cranium of the enemies were all tapped. And this is not the first time. I've seen the operations of the BIR-7, like I've seen more than 10. I mean, these guys don't delete a small number. They delete large numbers. And the thing about the BIR-7 is you don't know, there is no way of knowing where they would be at any time. Their operation is secret, is extremely top secret. Like you don't know where they will be at any given time. Today you might hear that, oh, they were in Banwa. Before you know it, oh, they are doing something in Jibo. They are doing something in Kudugu. Like you don't really know where the BIR-7 is going to be at any point. and they are like the offensives. You don't like, they don't like, now that they've completed a job, a containment team will move in, the BR7 are gone. Somebody told me yesterday that it's better we call those guys the angels of death, because from most of the operations that we've seen, these guys don't even record casualties. Some people said it's because of the significant level of ISR, discipline, professionalism. But we have to also talk about the team chemistry. These guys are like, according to what I heard, for you to even earn the right to get into this team, everything about you, every piece of the puzzle about you personally as an operator has to be top notch. So, and you have different age class of real men. Real men. So, destroy the terrorists, recovered everything. Now, they took their bodies and they took it back to the military base. Now, what I found out is you have an unimaginable number of soldiers in that region. Unimaginable number. So, it was even, like, in my own opinion, I think it was something ludicrous for the terrorists to think that they could have gained any type of success in this region. Now, I do understand that part of the tactics of these terrorists is that when they establish a command base, they launch minor skirmish on small detachments, maybe a patrol team going, maybe a patrol team of like 7, they might attack with about, 30 to 40, and they overwhelm that patrol team. But that was not going to happen. Along this region, that was never going to happen. I don't know if it's because of the level of tension in that region. The Ivorian border, man, is the most secured border. Is the most secured part of, like, to be honest with you, Ouagadougou, Bobo de la Soul is a very, very secure border. You see that flank, that red flank? No, it's impenetrable. It's impenetrable. And the BR7 played a very, very decisive role in liberating that region, because it was part of the territories where the terrorists were playing around before. But under the government of Captain Ibrahim Traore, every single terrorist in that region was neutralized. No negotiation. The only negotiation they had was from a place of overwhelming firepower. Now, if you look at what the terrorists have been trying to do recently, in my own opinion, they were trying to do something similar to what they are trying to do in Mali. Wage an economic warfare. Because that is the statement we've been hearing now. Economic warfare, economic warfare. So you should ask the question that how are they planning to wage this economic warfare? So according to the information we had, they said the people that fund them believes that the government of the Sahelian state, the AES, that they still have a significant amount of money. The people that fund these people are in a sort of economic chaos, economic quagmire and quandary. So, and the way they think is, if I'm in trouble, you must be in trouble. That is just how they think. The people that fund these people, they are not rational calculators, right? They don't calculate things. They are not chess players. They play poker. They play risk, like they risk it all, right? So they're trying to wage an economic warfare because their country is in chaos. Protests is going on. Buildings are getting burnt. Protesters are stomping on policemen. But these people are chipping in real estate, military equipment. You see the Faso Maibo equipment that just came into Burkina Faso. These things are in billions. So in their mindset, if you can't be for us, then you should be against us. Right? I don't know. But based on my own opinion, I don't think there is any type of Russian military personnel in Burkina Faso. Hell no. Because the last time they asked from Captain Ibrahim Traore, he actually said that the VDPs, that he has the VDP, doesn't need any Russian machinery. And in Burkina Faso, above 80% of the citizens, they are with the government. They are not extremists. They don't have the tendencies of being extremists. It's dominated by the Musi tribe. Like, these are not people that you can talk to about some jihad, about some 72 virgin promise, or, you know, because how do you get 72 virgins where you were about to eat some noodles and you got your brain tapped? Because that was what we saw. When the virgins were going to flee for their lives. So, like, this was one of the best military operation, and I know from here forward, that's it. The BIR will be gone. They will already be deployed to another place. Men like this, they are rare, and they need to be protected by at all costs, by all means. Ladies and gentlemen, I promised I was going to drop this, but I had a 24 hours call. So I wasn't able to actually talk about this. Yeah, they're trying to wage an economic warfare. You know, if you, from this Ivorian border, you know, they can easily get to the capital. They can easily get to, you know, some strategic places. But that is why you have an unimaginable amount of military presence. I don't think you can enter that region without getting noticed. Like, I'm not talking about just being noticed by a civilian or something. Like, the military are aware you are there. Now, it depends on your mission. That will determine the next, you know, phase of the negotiation. Either they negotiate with you by asking questions with overwhelming military power, or they negotiate with you by recovering the 72 virgins. You have to negotiate which one you're gonna, you know. Like they say, I love that statement. You see the BIR-7? I think that unit has a lot of fight in their dog. We've actually seen before, we've seen some countries with a lot of soldiers, but, you know, there is no fight in the dog, right? But this BIR-7, there is a lot of fight in that dog right there. So, man, congratulations to WATAO and his 72 brave immortals. I know they are beyond 72 right now because the numbers I saw was just unimaginably large. So, congratulations to the people of Burkina Faso. The terrorists actually released a statement earlier in the week that they are trying to launch an economic warfare on Mali. The Mali continues to, they say the Sahel state generally continue to help Russia to launch, you know, the funders, right? They said Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso continue to help Russia in their war of aggression against Ukraine, and they must try to strategically paralyze the economy of these countries. So how they plan to paralyze the economy is to, you know, strategically stop fuel from going into these countries. So the fuel from Senegal, the fuel from Guinea, the fuel from from Côte d'Ivoire, they're trying to make sure that, you know, without fuel, you know, some things might not function. But in Burkina Faso, there is a lot of solar, you know, electric, you know, capacities there. So I don't think operations will be affected. But the northern part of Mali, that is where, you know, this can considerably, you know, bring a sort of effect. And so far, so good. The Malians continue to fight on. But we have some very, very huge information about Mali. I will actually make a whole different episode on that, probably later today. We need to strategically let you all understand what is going on in Mali, right? But as far as Burkina Faso is concerned, everywhere is death out there, ladies and gentlemen. You have nothing to worry about. Forget the Western propaganda. It ain't gonna work. You know, they continue to tell false stories, right? But we continue to bring an overwhelming evidence. So if you notice that lately, some of the people that complained that they couldn't comment on my platform, that they couldn't hit the like button. Some cannot even hit the subscribe button. They say whenever they want to subscribe, it's always saying they should join or something. Look, my channels like this, right? It's not about numbers. The potentials are very clear. And the potential is not in alignment with the order that is trying to corrupt. You know, a lot of content creators right now are getting paid up. You know, you see them try to act like Pan-Africanists, but at the end of the day, they throw some bricks in between at some time. Yeah, but when they see that you don't align, you know, maybe some approach, you've turned it down, and they see that, look, this person is like that, then, you know, what happens is that the channel, the try to shadow ban, you don't get your information out there the way you should. So I want you all to understand. They are trying to compress the channel, but the thing is, what YouTube even told me is that majority of the audience on this channel always come back. So there is no way in hell they would have been able to stop us from advancing. They can't stop this advance. But meanwhile, some people can still hit the subscribe button. Some people can still hit the notification. Some people can still get in. But I have even tried this with some of the device of the complainants, and I can see that they cannot easily subscribe. I don't know why it's going on, but this is just the truth. So we'll continue to bring this information, right? They can continue to talk. They can make AI videos. We'll continue to bring clinical evidences. So ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy 7200 signing out. Enough said. But before I go, I'm so sorry for disappointing yesterday, but I had to go and fix my official duty in the hospital, right? You know, I'm a medical professional and I have to like help lives too. So at the same time, see you when I see you. Thanks for watching and God bless you. To our daddies and mommies and to our kings and queens and to everyone in this community that I so much respect. Thanks for your support and God bless you. I see you later in the day.